This conference will now be recorded.
Polling was done, right? We are in monthly challenge. So here in challenges, we created templates, right? Inside template, we have challenges on HTML. Okay, and what we did was we have to say Python manage.py space file names, that is run server. And when you go to this, right? So can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The server is running and my browser is stuck. So yeah. So it is challenges, right? Okay. Challenges, you click on February and okay, we are given H1 and H2. So you can see the impact of HTML. And as you said, right, you can add more code to it. Okay, you can add even CSS and make it look better. Okay, so this start is done. Now we'll talk about what is called as DTL, Django Template Language. So Rajesh, you were asking, right, that code is called DTL. Okay, so if you have to master it, you have to look for DTL. Okay, Django is
Yes,
called
sir.
Django Template Language. Okay, so it is an extension of your HTML thing only. Okay, so what we'll do is, okay, let's add a variable. Okay, so we go to view, add view. Okay, and okay, the thing is, when you do over many days, right? That's the thing. Okay, because one project takes like 4 or 5 hours, right? So weekday, if you do half an hour, 1 hour, you forget what you have done. Okay, so this is the dictionary that we have created. Okay. Mm, okay, and then we go to monthly challenge. Yes. Okay, here only we are calling this, right? Month name. Okay. So here is this the one? No, this is the one, right? This is to redirect, right? This is to redirect here. That when you give number, it will redirect to the month, right? So this is the main view function. Okay. So what I'll do here, challenge text in return. Okay. So in return, you have written a render request, and then you have the file name. Let me add a variable here. Okay. Here I will add a variable, and I will use DTL language. DTL language, how do we do? We use double curly bracket. Okay. So I'm going to use um, curly bracket is to read the variable in where? In the template. Okay. And I will create a dictionary value here. because this is Python code. DTL goes well with HTML, right? And the view is totally your Python code. This is purely your Python code. And DTL goes well with HTML. So in HTML file, you write DTL. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll pass a dictionary here, and in a template, I will create a variable using DTL to read this value. Okay, so I'm going to create a dictionary, and I'm going to call the variable name as, let's say, content. Okay, and the value can be your, okay, so what's your value here? This one, right? Challenge text. So I'll pass this one as a value to this. Okay, earlier I was only passing challenge.html, right? Now I'm passing a value also. So this is the key. This is what we have to read, and this will store this value. So done. We have made the changes in view. Now we have to make similar change in our HTML page. Okay. So here, okay, this is that is getting called, right? Challenge.html. So here I want to read that value. How will I read that value? Okay, so I have my title. Okay, and where do you want to read? Let's say I want to read here. I want to read here. Okay, this is the value, right? The challenge text will have, the challenge text will read from the dictionary above, right? So instead of this one, which is fixed, right? So we have fixed header and fixed this. We need to replace this one and this one based on the month. So here, instead of doing a fixed value, we will display the value from that. Okay, so if you have to read a variable, you use double curly braces. If you are using a if else, you use curly bracket and percentage. Okay, so to read variable, double curly bracket. And what was the key that we are passing here? Content, right? So I'm going to copy this content and paste it here. Okay, now let's go and see. February, it should change. If everything goes well, yeah. You see, so February, I will complete 500 kilometers, right? Now, if I go back to the home page, okay, January, see, January text, right? So it is able to read the specific text because we are passing it along with the render, right? We are passing this value here, challenge text. Challenge text is using Python logic. We are reading the month name and getting the value from the dictionary that we have declared above. And see, it is a dictionary, right? So you can pass multiple values, right? Since it's a dictionary, we can pass multiple values. Now let's say I want to pass the month name also, right? So what I'll do, I will say comma, okay, I'll say a month, colon, and what's the value for month? This is the month, isn't it? Okay, so we'll say month. Yeah, so we'll say a month, and now we go to our static file, and this is where we want month, right? So I will just put okay as month. Yes or no? Yeah. So you see, January. We got the text, but this text is small letter, right? Because this is small because in dictionary we declared a small value, right? We declare a small value. So one option is you change it here, you make it J here, okay?
Sir, we can use also, sir, capitalize.
You can use capitalize, you can use upper, whatever you want to display. So let's say before passing, I want to, okay, capitalize. Okay, it's a text, right? You can say capitalize, okay, say capitalize. And capitalize is a function, isn't it? Now when you go back to our this, you have successfully completed. You can put some text also here, okay? Instead of putting just month in challenge, I will say your upcoming challenge for January, February is something like this, right? Now you go back. Your upcoming challenge for January is, right? So only that specific value will be changed. Your upcoming challenge for December is, yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's handle for loop. Okay. So in for loop, okay, what is happening in index is we are creating for loop here, isn't it? In index, in view, we are reading the dictionary and getting the list of month, the bullet points. Right? Let's try to do this in template. Okay, let's try to do same logic in template. So I will create a new HTML file here, and let's say we call it as index.html. No, this is not Python 5. Index.html, right? We don't have to make any changes to the path because we have already added the path. Challenge path is already added. So anything that you add under challenges, you don't have to re-enter the path. Okay, so our HTML file is created here, right? Now, what we have to change the logic, right? We are moving the logic from index, sorry, from the view index, right, to the index.html, isn't it? So what we'll do is, so that we don't lose the logic, I'm going to call this as index not required something, okay, and we'll create a index here. Define index, okay, you'll have requests, okay. Now we'll put our logic here. So the logic was return render, right? To render into static files, right? A template we have to call render, isn't it? So where did we put render? Here, right? Yeah. This is our render, isn't it? So let me copy this code and we will edit it. this is index. Okay, we put return. Okay, so what do we need to put return here? So first we have to pass the month, right? And every time month is passed, that has to, that has to, we will pass month as a list. Okay, so we will pass month as a list, and that list has to be read by. So we'll pass entire list here. Okay, we'll pass entire list. Okay, and we will do the logic there in the template. So one option is you pass the entire dictionary and let the logic of picking keys from the dictionary happens in there. Okay, or you can do it here. So that is easy to do in Python loop. Okay, Python. So let's get the list of keys here itself. Okay, so I'm going to say months equal to. Okay, now the dictionary is what? Monthly challenge text. This is the dictionary. Okay, so I'm going to say months equal to dictionary dot keys. Keys will give us all the keys, right? And we can convert this into list. To convert this into list, so we'll get list as value. Now this months we will pass as a, yeah, so here you don't need to pass two variable, we need only one variable, which is the months, right, in the index. So I'm going to say something like months equal to, directly we can say months here, or it's a list, right? So you say months, right? So that is it. Okay, so we are ready to call the index.html. Where do we put the index.html? Oh, it is challenge.html, right? We have to convert it to index.html. That's when the index.html will be called, right? Okay, challenges. Okay, it is challenges / index.html. So our view is ready. We need to go and change the index file. Okay, index file is done. This is ready. Okay, body. This is where we do. Okay, so here I'll say welcome to challenges website, something like that. Okay, now here we'll put the logic here. So you have to use for loop, isn't it? Right, and for loop for month, right? So we'll be using DTL code, right? So DTL code is Python code changed a little bit for HTML. Okay, so first we have to create the table structure UL, unordered list, right? So I have to create unordered list. Inside unordered list, for every bullet we'll put a loop, right? So I'm going to say UL. Okay, and here I'm going to run my loop. So I'm going to say, so how do you do for loop? This one, right? So here the loop will come, and you need to have an ending also, right? Ending is also done using same logic, right? Same tag. They are called DTL tags. Okay. Okay, done. Now here inside I'm going to put my for loop. Okay, so for m in months. Months is the variable name, right? So we have to read those months here. Okay. Right. So I'm going to say months. This is being passed to us, isn't it? From the views. So for, and this m is we are creating, right? So I'm creating m. So for m in months. Okay, and here I'm going to say and for, right? End of loop. So and for. Okay, So now M is the value. M is the January, February, that value from the list that we are passing. So before that, what we have to do is we have to create the bullet, right? So what is the tag for bullet?
Li, sir.
Li, right? So I'm going to say Li. Okay. So inside this bullet, first I need to display the the value, right? The M value, like you want M like January, February, March, April, like that. Okay. So I'm going to say variable M, right? I think we are done. Correct. So if I go and refresh it, index will be called here, right? So see, we got January. Okay. So Li is giving bullet, and we got all these values. Now, if you want to make this as a title case, right? So there's ETL has a different way to do that. Okay, we have to use pipe sign. Title case. Pipe title case. Now you go and refresh. Okay, we got title case, right? But we haven't added the links yet, isn't it? So these values are coming from dictionary, which is in views, and we are handling the values from the template. Okay, now we have to add link. So how do we add link?
href.
Perfect, right? So we say a href, right? So href equal to, okay, and let's first put the logic here, okay, and this closing tag should be after the title, right? Great. Now here, okay, we need to put the URL, right? So we need to put here what's the challenges, right? App name challenges. Okay. Now slash, and here we need to have January, February, etc. Right? So I'll put a variable tag and I'll put M here. Right? So hopefully this should be done. Okay, yes, we always got tag. Now we click August. Okay, so everything working fine? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this is how you can manage from template. You can use for loop. We have seen if also in the last example. Okay, so you can do now. Now, let's say tomorrow you change this app name. If you change this app name, you have to go and find everywhere the function, okay, or in the loop, or or in the static files, what you call as templates. You have to go and change everywhere, right? So instead, what we'll do is we will create a dynamic. Okay, that means it's going to read what is there. It will read this value and automatically put this one as the here before put January we have getting from M variable, but this one also will make it dynamic. So it will read from here and same thing it will put, right? So how do we do that? You understood the problem, right? So if path changes or you change the app name to something else, you change the app name to C or something like that. So it will still do challenges slash January, right? Challenges slash March. We don't want that. We want it to read this URL dynamically, right? So So this M is fine, okay, but we need to read the URL value, right? So to read the URL value, this entire thing will be a DTL code, okay? Because challenges we are not hard coding. Hard coding, okay, you are putting the value directly. It's a text value. It's not a DTL tag. But now we need to read the right. We need to read the tag, okay? So now to read it, since it's not a simple variable, we have to read it, okay? So here we will not get this sign. We will use the loop and if sign, which is percentage. So one is simple variable, we use double curly bracket, okay? So this is it. Now we need to get the URL, okay? So we have a command, DTL command called URL. URL will directly get the URL value. So we'll say URL, okay, equal to, okay, this. Okay, no. So when you have multiple quotation, what do we do? Because this quotation, it is reading as the end of this quotation. That's why it's giving error. What should you do here? Either I can give slash URL or I will change the quotation. I'll use single quotation. Try to get confused with the href quotation, isn't it? I'll use my own quotation. So it is not URL equal to, okay? It is just URL, okay? So URL and your project name. So, okay, so project name is fixed, isn't it? So in that project, whatever app you are using, that app it will take. Okay, so it is monthly challenges, right? So I'm going to say monthly underscore challenges. Okay, and then it should be immediately followed by M, right? I think it should work. Let's see. Let's see if I have to make any changes here. Okay, there's an error. What is the error? Could not parse the remainder M from monthly challenges M. Okay, let's try to get this. Now, since we're not giving comma, let me try to give this helps. Okay, and here I'll make this as single quotation. Okay, because it's DTL code, right? DTL code is not as flexible as your HTML code. Okay, so I'm going to say URL space monthly challenges and then your month value. Okay, then this I'm going to say month title. Let's see if it has any impact. Okay, okay, so I think I got it wrong. This URL will come from where? Okay, so this is problem with the monthly challenge. Okay, so not monthly challenge. What should it mean here? So the URL should come from This is challenge. Settings. What I use, right? Reverse for monthly challenge. Let's go back. Okay, now we use here. What did we use? Here also we did, right? We target month now, right? Reverse. The month now has become yeah. So see, where did we give this URL? Challenge. Yeah, see here. It is reading from here. Okay. Here we gave this, right? Pattern. So it is reading the URL pattern. Right? That's why error earlier we got was pattern is invalid. Okay. So when you say month num, we have already set this before, right? So when you set this, so month num, it is picking from pattern. Yes? Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Right, Rajesh?
No, sir. I don't understand.
So see, we have already set this path here, correct? That
Yes.
when you use month name, okay, it should call this particular pattern.
Yes. Yes.
This
Yes.
pattern is where in challenges. Okay, so when you see this example here, right? Views only. Here we are using redirect path.
Month
Month
num.
now slash the argument. So this argument is the January, February, whatever, right? A month name is what we had set it in the pattern already in the URL, app URL. The same one I'm calling there as well, where in index month. So when I say URL, it will go and check in the URL pattern. Yeah. So now what
Yes,
we'll do is we'll go back here and we'll look at the DTL. Okay. So practice this DTL. Okay. Django template language tutorial. Okay. So this is the official website. Okay. docs.djangoproject.com. Okay. So here use extend, right? This is what we have used. Block, we have used block content, right? For we have used, isn't it? So how to read variables? Variables are given in double
Same
right?
best.
Or loop. Okay. Filter. This is what we did, right? We use lower, I mean, title, we use title instead of lower, right? So variable and what do you want to do with the variable, right? So you can say pipe and you can put lower, upper, title. Okay. Default values. Default nothing. That means if value is not called, it will print nothing. If value is absent, if there is no value for that variable, if you don't do that, it will give you error, that value not being passed. But if you're saying default, that means if value is not there, print as nothing. Okay. Length. Okay. Then you have tags, like this is what exactly we use, right? Then you have if else. Okay. Let's do some if else also. Right. So that's it. If you do it, you are done. Not too many things to learn. Yes.
yes, sir.
Great. So in this case, we have already set the reverse pattern, right? So when we are picking this, we have already set month now as a reverse pattern. So here you are saying URL. So when you say URL, it will go and find the path from the URL file, right? So it's going to URLs and finding the path for month now. Here. So month now is here. So it's taking this path. Okay. So now, so values are now okay. Even if you change the app name to whatever, okay, it will not give you error. Okay. So we'll stop here. Okay. What you can try to add if else, right? So if else is like if the value is not there, right? Then it should print a custom message that no challenge available for this month. Okay. Tomorrow when we meet, we'll talk about generic template. Okay, we'll talk about how to create a generic template, let's say base.html, and how you can import it at multiple places. Okay, so we'll create a HTML file will have some fixed content and some dynamic content. Okay, that means if index is called, so you will create a, we'll call it a base.html. Okay, so we'll add some text here, which is fixed, here, which is fixed, but here, okay, we'll add 1, 2, 3 types of code. If index is calling, we'll print only this. Okay, if some other is calling, we'll do this. If something else is calling, we'll do this. That is real template, right? What we have seen is creating a single HTML file, right? Single HTML file, why do we need template? But the real use of template is when you have, same file can meet multiple purpose, isn't it? So we'll start working on base HTML template tomorrow. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. So plan is that by this week or early next week we'll finish off. Okay. I'm trying to finish by Friday. If not by Friday, next week we'll finish the complete thing. So this is one, and then I'll give you one more assignment. Do that, and then we are done.
Sir, total course is completed by next week.
100% next week. Okay, if not this week, next week 100%. We'll try to complete
Okay.
80 to 90% this week only. 80%. Saturday, Sunday we will not meet, guys. Okay, or I'll let you know. We will not meet Monday. We'll do only Monday to Friday. Okay, 8:30 to 9:30 we'll do every day.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay then. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.